Women's Equality Month is set in August, largely because August 26th is the anniversary of National Women's Suffrage. Passage by Congress June 4th, 1919, and ratified on August 18th, 1920, the 19th Amendment guarantees all American women the right to vote. Secretary of State Bainbridge Colby certified the ratification on August 26, 1920, changing the face of the American electorate forever. 50 years later, on August 26, 1970, Betty Friedan and the National Organization for Women, also known as NOW, organized a nationwide women's strike for equality. Women across the political spectrum joined together to demand equal opportunities in employment, education, and 24-hour child care centers. This was the largest protest for gender equality in U.S. history. The following year, 1971, Representative Bella Abzug introduced a bill designating August 26th of each year as Women's Equality Day, and the bill passed. Part of the bill reads that Women's Equality Day is a symbol of women's continued fight for equal rights and that the United States commends and supports them.
You know, it's really important for me to serve as a role model for not only my peers, but for the younger generation. You know, throughout our career, we experience successes and failures, but I think that we benefit from both and we grow from both experiences. If by holding true to my values and my personal and professional standards, if that serves as inspiration to others, then that's great. I hope I can do that. Two things. Number one, stay true to yourself. And number two, you are stronger than you think. We all have strengths and weaknesses, but what's important is recognizing what those are. And my opinion is, know what your strengths are, exploit them and use them to its fullest. Use them to its fullest, but also with the weaknesses, know what those are too and work on improving those. It may sound cliche, but my advice to everyone is identify what your dreams and goals are and go for it. There's no stopping you.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity that the military have provided to the females. We had gone so far in getting to that equality level. I think the military is one of those entities that pushes equality more than probably any other entity out there. So I'm proud to be part of that and be part of that history of seeing the transition from women not having equal rights to now, you know, seeing where we had gone so far and see how we treat it equally across the board.
The second person that inspired me was Rosa Parks. She was an African-American civil rights activist, and Congress labeled her as the First Lady of Civil Rights, and also called her the mother of the freedom movement. On December the 1st, 1955, Rosa was on a bus, and she refused and disobeyed the order of a bus driver to give up her seat in the colored section to a white passenger who was not able to sit in the white section because it was filled. Well, she refused and disobeyed, and she was charged with illegal disorderly conduct and illegal violation of law. And because of her defiance in bus segregation, she led the Montgomery bus boycott, and that made a real difference in the civil rights movement.
One of the most proud moments in my military career was when I got to work a national counterespionage investigation. I got to work with the sister services, FBI, CIA, and it was the highlight of my career because I felt that I had a direct impact in protecting sensitive technologies within the Department of Defense.
It was getting back home from a 10th-month deployment and seeing my family at the gate, and just seeing their faces light up when they see me. When they saw me was amazing. It made everything worthwhile. It was a lot, but I knew that there was a mission that had to get done. But regardless, my family was behind me, all the time. Don't let anyone stop you from setting your goals or reaching them. You're gonna have goals that people are gonna look at you and say, why? And you just turn around and say, watch me do it. That's it. Don't let anyone stop you from reaching something that you know you're capable of doing.
I think it's important because women are taking the time to serve their country just like men are, and they should be treated equally against their fellow soldiers. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're going out there in the front line, or if you're deployed to Afghanistan, or if you're just coming to work every day in the same uniform as your counterparts. You should just see the uniform and not whether or not it's a man or a woman there, because you're all doing the same job.
The future of our military, not just the Army, clearly involves women. They're going to be a critical and integral part of everything that we do as for the armed forces. And the truth is, I think that we're coming to a point where I think we will see all MOSs open as directed by the SecDef. And I would imagine, like what's been over the case over the last almost 65 years, that the women will be successful. And I think that we're going to see them in Tier 1 soft units. We're going to see them in infantry units, and they're going to be serving where they want to serve based on their abilities, which I think is what everyone expects when they come in the military, to be assigned and put in a position where they can succeed based on their abilities. And that's the only requirement.
For me, I have to say my proudest moment was when I got promoted to the rank of major. I had the opportunity to go up to Maine and do a small ceremony up there with my dad. Up until that point, my dad hadn't seen me get promoted. He was able to see me commissioned into the Army, but not been involved in any of my promotions. So we went up there, and I come from a very small town, and they decorated the streets with flags, and the VFW decorated, and it was just a beautiful event. But the more important thing was just the way the community supported me and me being in the military. The way my dad, he was so proud. He held his head so proud, with such pride. He looked at me with such pride in his eyes, and it made me proud to be an American soldier, and more so proud to be his daughter. It was a very touching time, and it meant a lot to me and to him. So my stepmom, she raised myself and 5 other children, and she did this while my dad was gone a lot. He was a truck driver, so he wasn't at home a lot. He was traveling from northern Maine all over the country to California, Florida, so he was gone a lot. So she had the burden of raising all of the kids. And she did it well, And then in her 50s, after we all left home, she made the decision to go to college. And she picked a program at University of Maine at Presque Isle, a social work program. She completed it in 4 years, and then she started working for the state of Maine as a social worker. And she loves it, and she still does it even today. So I was inspired by her ability to start a career that late in life. It just inspired me. But more so, my mom has got this ability just to overcome obstacles, and she's a very resilient lady, in my opinion. My dad became very ill In 2005, when I was deployed, he was diagnosed with kidney failure, and that required him to go to dialysis 3 times a week for 4 hours at a time. And he did that all the way up until 2012 when he passed. But she was able to balance her career and do what she loved professionally, but also take care of him. So she would work all day dealing with the challenges of work, and then she'd come home and she'd take care of my father. And that's the type of woman that is just so resilient, and she's got drive, and she just wants what's best for others. And she taught me a lot about myself and how I should be as a female and as a woman, as an individual, and to take care of others and treat them the way you'd want to be treated, to love unconditionally, and to give yourself to others and try to take care of folks. And she is just such a strong woman, and such a motivation to me. And I'm such a lucky daughter to have her as my mother, and she truly inspires me every day.
Back in, I guess it was 06, 07 time frame, I was here as enlisted soldiers, and I met 2 female officers. The first one was Colonel Cheryl Harris. She was the G2 at the time, and she was this petite little woman, but she had such a large personality. She entered a room, everyone noticed her, and but even though she was authoritative, she still maintained that femininity, which I think is important. I like that she brought fresh ideas to the G2. She was a step instructor, and one time she made it mandatory for, all the soldiers and the civilians, if they wanted to participate in that PT program. And I remembered that when I had to do annual training with my soldiers. I made them do Zumba, because that's really popular right now. And then the other one was Colonel Suzanne Atkinson. She was with my National Guard unit, and just really laid-back lady, approachable, and she was always offering advice and guidance to all the female soldiers. And even though her career was so demanding, she was so able to balance that with motherhood. And for me, being a mom and trying to do the reserve thing and my full-time job, it gets difficult, but she's a source of inspiration for me.
I've had so many proud moments while serving in the military, but I think my proudest moment was being selected to command at Officer Candidate School. It was truly a privilege and honor to be a servant leader and to be able to shape and mold those future officers, leaders in our military was just a great experience for me. And to now see them as great leaders and commanders themselves, that is truly a proud moment for me. It's just great being able to serve our military as a woman, as a soldier, being able to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and knowing the importance of taking that oath and saying that I'm going to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and being able to be a part of that and live that is just a great honor, whether you're male or female. So I am proud to wear this uniform, and I am proud to say that I'm an American soldier. I've truly had some great inspirational women throughout my 20 years of my military career, and they actually stem from the NCO Corps, Warrant Officer Corps, and the Commissioned Officer Corps. As an NCO, I remember First Sergeant Evelyn Hawley, who taught me about being a leader, who taught me about placing my soldier needs above my own, and really taught me to just the leadership aspect of being a non-commissioned officer. For the warrant officer, I remember CW4 Linda Swartz, who taught me about rising to my full potential, who taught me about standards and no compromise, and who taught me about reaching and wanting more and always striving for excellence. As far as the commissioned officer, Colonel Sneed, in her short time that I knew her while she was at Army South, she told me a quote that I will always remember, and I would like to leave for other female soldiers. She told me to reach for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll always be amongst the stars.
Graduating from basic training and AIT right after my English school was actually one of the proudest moments, because most of the people I know, and they thought it was going to be difficult just because my English wasn't the best, and my family was very proud of me, and that was very grateful for me, and that's what I think it was one of my proudest moments of my life.